now I will attempt to move my front housing on its newly built cart. Well, that sure did help things along. Just like an ancient Egyptian, I learned how to move heavy things a little bit easier. Now I just need more plywood. Alright, now both housings are ready to go under the truck, but I'd like to do a little preparation to the frame of the truck before I put them under there. Alright, I've got to get in here with the grinder and clean this mess up on the frame. Then I'm going to weld up the holes that I don't need, grind them smooth, have some nice smooth stock frame rails to work with. Alright, I've got the frame. Now I've got the frame nice and clean up a little bit. I didn't fill the holes like I said I was going to. I'm going to save that for later. I haven't decided if I want to bring this side of the frame out or bring this side in. Well, part of me wants to throw a lot of this stuff in the garbage, but I mean basically what you have with the stock frame is like a nice body mount holder. Like it holds the body and, well, I mean technically it holds everything, but what I mean is I just want to cut it all up and throw it away. And it's a lot easier said than done. It's a lot of fun to do. Start over from scratch, but also, why? I mean, it does its job. It holds the body there, and it's going to hold everything else too. And it won't look that bad when I'm done with it, so I have to try not to get too carried away with my torch, or try not to cut too much stuff off. But at the same time, we don't need all these dents and divots and holes in the frame. They're there, and then the shape of it irritates my brain. But I'm going to try and work with it. It's my blank canvas, and I'm Pablo Picasso. So right now I'm going to go ahead and get the front rear pulled up under here. I got my cart. I got my plywood. I'm going to get it up under here, get it sort of in position, and then I'm going to move to the back side of the truck as long as my welder will reach, and I'm going to start boxing the frame. At least that's my plan. We'll see how this goes. Coming in hot. There we go. Come on, baby, get in here. Get in here. Now all of a sudden, the truck doesn't seem that big anymore. Nice axle. My front axle's perfectly centered. It's time to weld it in. Just put some rubber bands on it. I'm done. My work is done here. No, my work is far from done here. I've just begun. All right, front axle's in. Now let's go find that rear axle. Ta-da! Just like that, I've got front and rear axles under the truck. Looks good to me. Let's go hunting. Now that I've got light in the proper area, what I'm gonna do next is get rid of some of these holes in the frame. When GM made the frame for this truck, I think they had some old scrap steel laying around with a whole lot of holes in it. And they had a whole lot of holes they didn't need, and I certainly don't need them. So I want to start over with a nice smooth frame rail. So I've got to fill in all these holes. I got my old antique soldering iron, and I'm just going to work that from the back side, stick it up, cover up these holes from the back, and go ahead and weld right to it. And since it's copper, when I'm done welding, I can peel it off, grind this side smooth, and I'll have a nice flat smooth frame rail to start over with. If you sit there, you might like to sit and watch. My welding helmet comes from Harbor Freight. Hopefully my eyes won't regret that in the later future. Of course, all future is later, isn't it? So what I'll do here is set up on my axle a nice seat for me. Hopefully it don't fall over. Stick this soldering iron up in there and go ahead and get started welding. Just like that, you can weld to it and peel it off repeatedly without any issues. I had a little trouble getting started there. That's because I was hitting the copper with my wire instead of hitting the frame ground, and I didn't grind down the inside of the frame. Do this hole here. There we go. Sometimes the hardest part is to be able to see where you're headed with your welder. There we go. Now with electric power, I'll try again. And just like that, you can see that now I'm working with a smooth frame rail. And now, my frame has a lot less holes in it. A nice smooth blank canvas for me to start my rebuild.